Yo, Crypto Nation and mining family, what is going on out there? What up, what up, what up? I see Crypto Badell into his house. Yo, what's going on? I see Crypto Craig going up to the A. As you guys are all sliding on in here, don't forget to smash that lizardy like button. Subscribe if you're new here. Hit the bell notification. You know what to do. Yo, helps us creators out with that dreaded YouTube algorithm. That is right. You know what's up. You know what's up. So what is going on, all you awesome hashers out there? It is another FA Monday. Yo. And of course, we got like some funky stuff that's come out, and let's just dive right into this one. This one it's funky, but in a good way. Yo. So it looks like this is an ARC GPU, the most detailed Lego graphics card yet. The ARC Intel fans recently had the opportunity to uniquely project by one of the employees. I kind of want this, guys. If you guys like find this, I want to link to this, and I might just buy it, just because it's like a weird one. Better detail than the iGame. Way better detail on this. I mean, look at this. The little fan blades are like little mini hatchets, and I'm sure you can like custom angle it and stuff. Bro, this is legit, man. I would build this Lego, and I would put it somewhere on my desk somewhere. You know, I'm just saying. I'd get this one, even throw a little love at this one, even though it's like, this is like, how can I put it? If you guys are Lego fans, so this is Blockos. And then this is Legos. You know what I'm saying, guys? If you are Lego fans, like, this will tickle your fancy just a little bit. I kind of want this, just to see like how many pieces it actually is, how detailed coming through it is it actually. You know, can I pop this cover plate off and look at the cooler below it? And then could I independently pop the cooler off and look at the granted, I understand that it's going to be, you know, different colored blocks, but, you know, blocks that represent the thermal pad, blocks that represent the thermal paste on the VGA core. I mean, like, how detailed did they go? Did they lose their mind with this thing? And if they did, I definitely want this. I'm just saying. This is totally FA. This just like hits me in my childhood stuff. I used to play with Legos when I was in grammar school. Come on, you know, it was the 80s. Freaking what was it like? The game consoles were just starting to come out. Really, I mean, yeah, we had the original Nintendo, but that was expensive for a poor family in the mid 80s. There was in television, and you know, and then you had the little handhelds. I had a lot of handhelds, but man, I played a lot of Legos, and or integrating my Legos in with like little Matchbox tracks, and have that all over my room, and had to, yeah, okay. This was the 80s. Don't judge me, okay, guys? Don't judge me. Moving on along. Smash the FA. It's FA in the chat if you ever played with Legos. Come on, guys. Be honest, guys. I'm just saying, be honest. FA in the chat. Not sure if you've seen this one. Be a good topic later, but what do you think about Bitcoin ordinals? They are NFTs being minted on Bitcoin using the Taproot upgrade. Depends on which maxis you're talking about, Crypto Craig. I probably want to say I've mentioned it 3 or 4 different times a few years ago, that you were able to do smart contracts on Bitcoin. Okay. With that being said, there has already been NFTs minted on Bitcoin. It's not a new thing. They've done it on Bitcoin. It's just not efficient for the utilization of Bitcoin. It's just not the most efficient use case for it. So I mean, with that idea, it's like, yes, anything that these shit coins can do, yes, Bitcoin can do also. It's true. So smart contracts can be done on Bitcoin. It's already set up for it. NFTs not hard, but is it necessary? No, again, it's not an efficient use of the resources. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, because of the amount of what you're paying for in security, right? The security aspect outprices the usefulness of NFTs on Bitcoin. Period. That's that. Am I upset that somebody's doing it now? No. But is it necessary for Bitcoin? No. Will somebody utilize it? I'm sure, and let them. They're still within the Bitcoin ecosystem, and they will find out that trading around with NFTs does not matter what the platform is. There's going to be drawbacks. So I mean that's just the clear, simple fact. So if somebody wants to do it, let them. They're in Bitcoin ecosystem. They're playing with pure Bitcoin, nothing else. Whatever they want to do. If they want to sit there and pony up for the fees and stuff, let them. It's like that. I mean, it's kind of my viewpoint on it. Even back whenever I heard about that, it was a possibility, but I didn't know anybody that was straight up doing it. It's like, yes, from a Bitcoin purist standpoint, it's spam. It's a lot of noise on the network, unnecessary, and could slow down. Could further slow down the block chimes, right, for a normal payment. So for normal users that are not utilizing it outside of finance or trading, they're gonna if there's a lot of NFTs that come blown through Bitcoin, it's gonna slow down the blockchain a little bit for processing standard payments, which, if you really want to boil it down, that will make Lightning Network even more tasty, because now these idiots with their NFTs can go pay high fees while everybody else goes on to the Lightning Network and does it that way. You know what I'm saying? So I think it'll be something that'll push innovation a little bit, and bring more innovation back into the Bitcoin ecosystem, and be like, hey, look, there's people wanting to do X, Y, and Z. How can we allow that while allowing all the other payment rails to go through just as fast? You know what I'm saying? So it could be a net positive in the long term, net negative in the short term if it gets real popular. But again, once it starts to get utilized a little bit too much, Bitcoin will bite them in the butt, transaction fees will go up, network will slow down, and you'll see that people will stop utilizing the NFTs on there. But they've been around for a little bit, though. They have been around. Bitcoin Twitter is going to hell over it since yesterday. Oh God, this is kind of old news. It's been able to be done for a while. Smart contracts have been allowed for a long time. People are stupid. They think this is like, oh my God, this happened just now. It's like, no. Maybe somebody showed where it can be done at. I've just never known anybody doing it. I've heard the rumors, and that's about it. So, but that's hilarious. It's like, I've known about this for a couple of years that it was a possibility for NFTs on Bitcoin. It's like anything that any of these shitcoins can do, Bitcoin can already do it. Period. I don't know why you want to do it, but yeah. It is what it is, right? Right. And guys, just like my thumbnail, guys, it's so thick. Oh, it's a chungus. The 4090 Ti. Definite 4-DIN. Clean 4-DIN GPU at 800 watt max, guys. So this would make that you would be required to have a 1200 watt to a 1600 watt power supply for this. For all of you people that are already running 220 to your main PC, you're gonna win on this one because you can put cheaper power supplies down than us American people on 110. Because 110 would seem to be a good number. We only give you one power cable to run all the amps through, not two. It's ridiculous that how they're going to be pushing the limit. I mean, like, what's next? The next card's going to be 1,000 watts, you know, in the 50 class GPUs. We're going to be looking at 1,000 to 1,200 watt GPUs just to be able to push all the power. Dave the Rave. World energy crisis, and they produce an 800 watt GPU. Why? I totally get it. It's not that it's going to utilize it. It's probably its normal range. Like, desktop idle will be under 100 watts. You know, if you're watching YouTube, you know, maybe 150 watts there. But, you know, if you're trying to play Crysis, it's got 800 watts on tap. Don't know if this could play Crysis, though. We can find out. Somebody should play Crysis with this GPU and see if it handles it. And if it handles Crysis, can it handle New World? Because New World is using a Crysis engine. So, yeah. If one can't do it, maybe the other one can kill it, right? But it's weird how they've got the orientation on this. I would have liked to have seen the blower section be opened up a little bit further, allow more air to come through. That's my small little nitpick on there. More airflow is always better, in my opinion. And that's just how I run it with drag racing and stuff. You know, it's like you cram more air in it, and then you figure out what the fuel ratio needs to be, right? I mean, it's like that's one little nitpick. And then if you're gonna have a 4-DIN GPU, why do you have to orientate the cables like this? I mean, it might make it look a little nicer on overall, but if you're gonna sit there and have this in display mode, in your particular, like if you've got a really nice big Leland Lee case or something like that, where you've got enough room to be able to stand this GPU up and, you know, show off the GPU. Hey, I've got a 4090. Look at me. You know, if you got it in your main PC, you might as well. If you're gonna spend this kind of money, you're gonna put that out in the middle of the room and on display, dude. It's like, because this thing is chungus, absolutely chungus. It's like, why would we want to have our vertical orientation on these connection ports? Oh, but it's so chungus, so chunky. I get the feeling gaming PCs will have a cloud base. You just subscribe to the hardware rent. You know, and they've been trying to do that. GeForce Experience is allowing for like hardware acceleration, like a subscription that they're going to be putting out. What was it? Stadia. That's what Stadia was supposed to be all about, where you can have a low-powered PC, but be able to play AAA games because you were playing on Stadia hardware. The problem is in what every gamer will sit there and state. If you're trying to do any kind of competitive online gaming, unless everybody that's in the server is playing the game identically to you, if anybody has the hardware on hand, completely wired in, their latency is going to be less than yours. That's really the death of Stadia, is that it's not that the games were unplayable. It's just that if you went to an online style game, you saw the latency. So there's inherent drawbacks with utilizing, cloud-based gaming. Unless everybody's doing it, anybody who has a physical PC is going to have the advantage, period. So I don't think in the long term that unless they have a way to get rid of the latency, I don't see it really catching on to anybody outside. It's like at that point it would push people over to console gaming. It's like if you have a big budget, you can have a PC game. If you have a smaller budget, you're going to be on a console. I think that'll be more the trend, because if you think about it, the consoles have been, nestling in, and they stay under $1,000, and you get anywhere from 30 to 60 FPS. So, I mean, it's playable gaming. I played games like that for many, 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 many years before coming onto the PC, where I do see a difference, but it's not like light years a difference apart. But there is a difference, and it's mostly from what I see as just image quality. My image quality is much better on PC. But you're looking at the same two identical games. So my distance draw will be better than on console. So I see people still going to fight tooth and nail in the long term to definitely the short term. I don't know how far into the long term, but I hope into the long term that people will fight to keep on, having the PC side of it for the better experience for gaming. What's retail on that? More than you can afford. Yeah. So the pricing on this hasn't come out. We're just looking at the leaks that are coming out. We all knew it was going to happen. The leaks were going to come out. So we're going to be looking at the die is going to be the AD102-450-A1. It's going to be the beast. 48 gigabytes, 24 gigabytes per second of GDDR6X. So I mean, like, this is basically a freaking Titan. All right. They've changed the Titan into a GPU and then tried packaging it up for gamers that, oh, you need this. And not really. If you're doing game development, maybe. Do you need it for competitive gaming, period? Unless you're an EA sport gamer, no. At 800 watts, does it make sense to turn this thing into a mining rig? Only if you're trying to compensate. Let's be real. Yes, it's going to have some performance behind it, but there's no profitable memory-based mining for this thing to justify the 48 gigabytes of RAM on this thing. And 800 watts, you're talking one power supply per GPU. Hardware deployment on this alone is going to be astronomical. Building an 8 GPU rig of 4090 Ti's is a flex at that point. You're going to talk about something that's going to be in width to get enough spacing between the GPUs so that each GPU's got enough airflow to breathe properly, because you got to remember the backside of this GPU is a pass-through, so it's going to breathe on the card behind it. So you're going to have to make sure there's a good enough airflow to stop the next GPU from sucking the tailpipe of the GPU in front of it, right? So that it would be cool to have for testing purposes, but practicality wise, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, for a normal PC, you're looking at a 1200 watt power supply you're going to need. So 800 watt power supply that you have in your PC right now, or at 1000 watt, is probably not enough anymore with this particular GPU. I just don't see anything outside of a flex of why anybody would need to have this. I mean, this thing is just chungus. Absolutely chungus. So we're going to be, let's see here, 18,176 CUDA cores, 384-bit bus width, 24 gigabytes per second. Launch date sometime this year, probably as we get in the summertime. You know, they'll come out with it. They basically got to go through and bin the 4090s chips and get enough of them that are binned that can actually handle the higher clocks on there without needing to be cut down due to keeping it inside of its failure rate, which will be temperature, stability, you know, all the little different requirements that they have to you know, but for what classifies as a 4090. They'll cut down some of the CUDA cores down on it to get the stability back into that chip, because you know, a lot of these foundries, they're trying to be zero waste foundries. So they'll just, this section doesn't work, just shut it down, and we still have a die. We'll call it a lower class, and that's how you get the your 4080 class, your 4070 class. These are smaller die sections that they're utilizing for the VGA cores. So they just shut down certain sections of it, and as long as the main functionality of the VGA core is still functioning as intended, they're good to go. So, you know, it's like, depends on how quickly they can get enough 4090 Ti style binning. Will depend on, you know, when they actually do come out. And then the only people who are going to be producing an extreme overclocking variation of it will be Galax with their Hall of Fame edition. I'm sure they're going to come out with a 4090 Ti Hall of Fame edition, all white as usual. Man, one of these days I got to grab one of them because they're cool. Especially if you get them in a certain class, they come with a little case and everything. Oh man, like, you get an experience with this thing. It's like Ingredia having a small C syndrome. Yeah, exactly. What's going on, Techman? The fans will be like an aircraft taking off for sure. For sure. I don't know why YouTube is like giving me top chat instead of live chat lately. How many FASs do I need to get a free Bitcoin? All of them. An infinite supply of FAs, maybe. But what's going on, Jason the Tiger Osborne? Yo. So kind of going right along with this. So the rumors have been, you know, all coming from Kryptonite Kimmy, a good source for leaking this information out. You know, bam, we have pictures of their bracket tree that's being made as we speak. We're probably going to be looking at a dual connector on here for the 800 watts, because these connectors are good for 600. They're rated for 600, and in order to get the 800, you're going to need two of them, so you'll have a 1200 watt peak power that it can actually siphon. So let's just put it this way: You put it underneath the right workload and with the right overclock, there's a potential. Not that it's gonna, that there's a potential that it can go whack it out right to 1200 watts for a millisecond. And hope you're not doing anything sensitive if it does that. You might want a 1600 watt power supply just in case you need the headroom. And that, there again, makes it even more expensive to run these as mining cards, guys. It's like if you're looking at needing to make sure that you have a 1200 watt power supply dedicated per GPU, just in case this thing, decides to take all the power that it wants for that brief millisecond, and it's going to be a whoop for a moment. That it might do it if you have the right overclock setting on there. And if that's the case, if you got it in your normal PC and you're doing something important and it goes whack it up, it can crash, put your power supply into an over voltage condition, and it will go into protection mode and shut down. Or as you're sitting there doing something, it'll just, there won't be enough power for a brief moment for the CPU as it's doing a process, and it blue screens on you, and you lose an hour and a half's worth of work that you might have been doing. So as much as I like using high powered equipment, it comes with a small caveat from time to time. They're talking between a 600 watt to an 800 watt total board power. We will have to see, guys. We'll be definitely seeing how this goes, and I bet you it'll be like a 600 watt peak under normal work conditions, and then you'll see like little miniature spikes, which would be normal, and they'll be in milliseconds. So most of the time you'd never even know that it was spiking until it shut down your computer or put your power supply into protection mode. Got to pick up another 3900X and a 3070 after work. Yo, that's what's up, Golden. Get it while you can. Like eyelash, get out of my eyeball. Oh man. Like an eyelash is trying to poke me. It's like, I'm going to kill your eye now. That's so much better. What up, Big Room? What's up? What's up? Oh, that's better. Now my eye's not itching. Yay! So, yeah, I mean, we'll have to see, but I would not recommend these for mining, guys. Just for the hardware end of this, it's not worth it. All you're gonna do is flex. That is it. Unless there's a new power supply that can handle multiples of these. Yeah, no. Kind of going out onto another one. Guys, check this out. Swiss retailer reveals warranty scores for GPUs/motherboard brands, guys. Yo! So, one of the biggest PC hardware retailers from Switzerland shows the statistics from their warranty claims, guys. Yo! What up, Rich M? What up? So, warranty scores. For the graphics card category, have a defect within the first 24 months. Dell, nope. ASRock 3%. Gainward at 4. Wow, how often that this brand in graphic card category have a defect within the first 24 months? Holy cow! I would have never have thought putting this category together quite like this. So Dell seems to be rock and roll for at least 24 months. ASRock has a 0.3% failure within 24 months. Gainward at 4%. Inno3D's at 0.5% in the first 3 months. HP is almost at 1% in the first 3 months. MSI is at 1.2% failure in with Zotac in the first 24 months, oh wow. EVGA is 1.7% failure rate. Gigabyte is at 1.8. AMD in general, with their own in-house brand, they are at a 2% failure rate right out of the box within the first 24 months. Sapphire is at 2.4%, and then XFX at 2.5%. And then warranty. Looks like Sapphire seems to be the best warranty claims of how many working days on average does it take to process a warranty claim. Sapphire's 3 days. EVGA is 9. Not so much. 9 days is not completely true. It might depend on the product, but with my 3090 XC3, I had approval for warranty within 3 days. So that might be depends on what their sample size is. So I mean, and again, this is all their experience for where they're at in Switzerland. So it might be faster here in the United States for whatever reason. MSI is 11 days. Gigabyte is 18 days. Yes, I even have issues with Gigabyte. AMD, not enough info. All the rest of these, not enough info. Might not be really, really super popular brands in Switzerland. But Zotac is 14 days with KFA2. Not sure who that is. Asus 12 days. Interesting. And then when it comes down to the motherboard category, defects within the first 24 months. MSI is at 2.8% failure rate out of the box. Supermicro at 5% failure. BioStar at 4.6%. Gigabyte is at 3.1%. Asus is at 2.9%. Again, my sample size with Asus is not huge, but I've had an issue with my first ROG Strix X399E first generation Threadripper motherboard. Had some broken pins in it whenever I got the board. Warrantied it out without an issue because it was brand new out of the box and wasn't firing up. So yeah, totally get that one. How many days on average does it take each one of these before it, a warranty claim from a service center arrives back to its customer? BioStar, 0 days. I don't know what they're close by. Gigabyte's 3 days. Asus 5 days. Asus, I've not had huge issues with them. Again, whenever I had my warranty with them, I was approved within 3 days. So I mean, it is what it is. Supermicro 6 days, MSI at 17, and ASRock at 13 days. Again, it might be that they're in Switzerland, that they have different things that they go through in order for approval out there. Without knowing exactly their warranty process out there versus what it is in the United States, I have no more further information than the intel that they've collected and put into this chart. Is it a bad thing that I buy all of my Amazon gift cards using Bitcoin? Not if you had the fiat. If you had the fiat, you should have spent the fiat first. Always spend the fiat before your Bitcoin. It's not financial advice. It's just what I do. And here's some reasons why I'm always leery about utilizing random blockchains. So Matter Labs fixes security issues in ZK Sync after Sync Layer 2 after Open Zeppelin audits. Open Zeppelin audits third party. They're like pinpoint security check. So they'll go in, take your software, run it in a virtual machine, and then just absolutely attack it from every vector that they can think of. From this copy that they had, they found 45 issues. 40 of them that they had Matter Labs had already taken care of. 5 of them that had not yet. They did not state that that they knew about the other 5. They may or may not have known about it. Hard to say. But you would hope that, and even with that being said, since they've done 40 different fixes on this, I would almost sit there and say Open Zeppelin needs to do another pinpoint test again. Not because they need to make sure those 40 things were fixed or not, right? That's not necessarily the what I would be going at it for. Is that sometimes during coding, inadvertently, when you fix something, you break something in another area that was unintended. So after doing a big amount of fixes, it's probably a very smart idea to have the third-party company come back in and do another audit base on your code to make sure that there was no other unintended consequences of some of the fixes that they have implemented, right? This is just something that anybody who's doing coding of any sort, you do X, Y, and Z and you break it over here. Or you do X here and now nothing works. And you're like, but I needed to do this. And you now need to know how to figure out how to connect in. But yeah, unintended consequences. So I would hope that Matter Labs comes back in and has another audit on their code base after resolving that many fixes into the software base. This is just something that I always kind of look at. ZK Sync is a ZK rollup scaling solution that supports the scalability with the Ethereum blockchain. It aims to offer developers the ability to port their apps from Ethereum to Ethereum mainnet to ZK Sync layer 2 with low gas fees and high transaction speeds without compromising on Ethereum's security. The alpha variant of the version is ZK Sync 2.0, which was released October 28th as a part of a 3-step process to bringing the layer 2 network into public use. But you're trying to trust another layer solution. So you got to trust Ethereum to work properly, and then you need to sit there and trust that ZK rollup it is going to sit there and work with their layer 2 scaling solutions here. I know people who use it and they have no issues with it, but again, it's like you've always got to sit there and trust that they worked out all these extra bugs out of the system. And I have trust issues. I do. It's crypto. I have trust issues. If I can't verify it, I can't trust it. And I'm not this huge coder. I know enough to be dangerous to myself, not to others. Let's just be real about this one. But it's like, so if I can't sit there and tell you what the pinpoint faults are, it's hard for me to recommend, oh yeah, you can use this, but watch out for these couple of trip falls in here. Easy to work around, pain in the butt, but here you go. When it comes down to Ethereum, I'm like, yeah, you got high fees on there. Pay attention to your smart contracts. There are workarounds for all of it. But going from Ethereum to another scaling solution, I have my trust issues because now I got to trust another company that I can't verify their code myself. Just because I'm not that good of a coder. What is fiat you speak of, and what does one and how does one acquire this fiat? People for many years have acquired this thing I speak of fiat, through trading of manual labor that is taxed by slave entaxments for these big oligarchy governments. All those numbers are skewed because it did not sell the same amount of cars over the overall percentages. Yeah, and I know it's going to be a little skewed, Tech Man. But like I said, it's hard to say what their what this retailer from Switzerland's data set was, but from what they were able to gather, these were the issues they had for their region and with their customers. Cool on them for getting together and grabbing some of that information for their customers, and if they make that public to their customers, it might help their customers go, hey, look, if I'm going to have an issue, I'd rather have an issue with a company that'll get back to me faster. And it might drive a decision on their part. I don't know if it's biased graphs from that company, but yeah, it is what it is. Again, you're trying to trust a third party that you can't verify. And that's why I always say with big old disclosures, I can't verify. I don't know what their data set is in any way, shape, or form. So hard to say, but it's interesting data set numbers if they're just taking it from a pure, this is what we've seen from our side. Doesn't matter what the sample size was. This was our data. Okay. And how long have they been doing this? Is this the first year that they're doing this? If so, then this is the beginning of them starting to collect that data and see if maybe by next year, did it improve or get worse? Now you're having numbers that can influence somebody's purchasing decisions, right? That would be me. So check this out, guys. Another laugh. This one's a good laugh. I will admit it. This one is a good laugh, guys. Bam. Charles Hoskins reacts to CoinDesk's purchase backlash, exposing media's dirty secret. After Cardano's founder, Charles Hoskins, confirmed rumors that he was considering and purchasing cryptocurrency and blockchain-focused portal CoinDesk. That is right. If you don't like the news being spread about you, just buy the news and then make the news biased to what you want it to say. Be like, oh, you're no longer approved for talking critical about me or my company. You must now talk about Cardano like it's way better than Bitcoin. That's when you start being able to control the narrative. And that's a very bad thing. It probably would have made CoinDesk implode. Like, it would become nobody would ever look at it except that for the people who are about, that are as misinformed as CoinDesk would make them. Indeed, hitting back at the piece, the Protocast PNC titled Opinion, Charles Hoskins would be the worst thing to happen to CoinDesk. That is true. Hoskins explained his intention to overhaul journalism by changing its incentive structure, that you talk better about Coinbase or Cardano or you don't work anymore. That's how you change the structure, right? Right, Charles Hoskins? According to him, the main problem is that there's a lack of depth, peer review, accuracy, accountability, accountability, and consequences for lying over political or monetary reasons. So who's this person that's going to be holding them accountable and determining what is a lie and what is the truth? Would that be you, Charles Hoskins? This is why people were being so harsh on this one. It's like, yeah, I'm going to buy the newspaper, and now the newspaper is only going to talk about me in a good light, and everything else is a failure. And if you don't, you're lying, and I'm going to eliminate you out of the company. Yeah. So the dirty little secret of journalism is that things are written not because they are true or they are trying to give you, the reader, objectivity. Things are being written to make money. Well, everybody's wanting to make money. If I'm a journalist and I can't put food on my table, I'm not going to be a journalist for very long if it's not putting food on my table. So, yes, there's money involved in this, 100%. That's what corporate media does. That's what everybody does. I'm sorry, but everybody needs to put food on their table, no matter where they're at in the world. Everything about this process of journalism is about money now. Always has been, always will be. Money makes the world go round, for the quote, right? Whether you like what's being said or not, the journalist has the right to say these things. And he has that right to do it if it's in the best accuracy that he has, the best knowledge that he has. And that means if they talk bad about your project, your company, you as a person, you do not get to shut them down because you don't like what they're saying. Sorry. That's just how it should be. Journalism should be left alone and not be controlled by another corporation like Cardano. He's trying to create exactly what he's trying to say that he's wanting to get rid of. It's like, I'm a big bad company, Cardano. And I'm going to buy a little news outlet and I'm going to control them. Corporate controlled journalism, corporate media, he's trying to beat. That's bullshit. That's just me. Break that like button. No, you know it. You know it. So, yeah, I mean, for anybody who's liking Charles Hodgkins, he is no different than any other corporate media person, any corporate person, or any government official. It takes one to know one. And since he loves to call out the hypocrisies in corporate media and in the government, it's because he also embraces those same hypocrisies. The man works with the governments to do everything that he states that he's not trying to do. There are many things that Charles Hodgkins is trying to. I'm trying to be nice about this, but there are things that make me distrust him. And this would be another little thing that came out and states that, you know what, nobody should trust Charles Hodgkins. So if this guy buys CoinDesk, stop reading all news from there, because it's going to be Cardano bias. It's going to be Cardano controlled news. And do you want to have another corporate news outlet that's going to lie to you consistently? No. So if Charles Hodgkins goes and buys CoinDesk, he basically destroys all the journalists over there. And yeah, I totally agree with that. And Hut 8 still on the offensive with the Ontario Power Company, now bringing them to court as the lawsuit escalates. A month-long dispute between the crypto mining company and its energy supplier in Canada. So miner Hut 8 Mining Corporation has ramped up its ongoing fight with its supplier for one of its mining sites, filing a lawsuit in a Canadian court. On January 26th, it had filed a statement to claim the Superior Court of Justice of Ontario against Volatus Power, an energy supplier for Hut 8 mining facility in North Bay, Ontario. The firms have been in an ongoing dispute since November due to what Hut 8 alleges is a failure of Volatus Power to meet its contractual obligations for the power purchase agreement. So before any mining company really gets started, or any real big business gets started, you are going to sign a power purchase agreement. whether you're doing it as a commercial entity, a residential homeowner. When you sign up and you agree to get power from your local power company, that's your power purchasing agreement right there. And depending on how it's written, depends on what liberties the power company gets to take with you. Now, when you start getting into these higher demand companies, whether you're a data center, a mining company, big manufacturing, does not matter. You're going to get a hold of your power company and you're going to try to lock them into an agreement that you're going to use X amount of power, they're going to supply X amount of power, and you're going to pay X, right? And since last year, Vladis Power has been pressuring the Prime Minister of Canada to allow them to break contract with them, because they're thinking that they can renegotiate the power agreement at a high. They don't like the power agreement being so low with the amount of energy being used. And it's not because, they don't have enough power. That's not the problem. They're already charging the residential and commercial sector a way higher fucking fee. And they want to be able to free up more to be able to sell into that market, even though the demand isn't quite there for it. It's not like they have another industry that's trying to come move in. They're merely trying to break the contract for either the purpose of negotiating at a higher rate, or trying to hook up their lines onto a bigger global grid so that they can sell to more commercial and residential entities at a far higher rate than what they're going to give at the industrial level. And this is pretty much true for 99% of anywhere you go in the world, is that the industrial side of it, anytime you get on industrial, your rates are like dirt cheap because they're trying to encourage you as the big behemoth that you're capable of being to continue doing business. A big business is going to utilize a lot of power, and it's going to help bring in a lot of stability in the grid. Without it, it's actually a little bit more work, and they don't make as much money to doing so. So it's in the best interest of the power companies to consistently be at between 65 to 85% utilization on the grid at all times. But with what Vladis Power is trying to do is they're not even stating that they have another venue to be able to selling the power that they're going to free up here, or that they really need that power to be freed up. But being that it is a power purchase agreement, it is a contractual agreement. If Parliament goes behind Hut 8's back and allows the power company to break the contract, that means that no contract in Canada is safe moving forward. There is no reason that any person going into a contractual agreement has to fulfill the obligations when they can go to Parliament and say, no, this is unfair practices and we're not doing it no more. And the Parliament will side with me. That's just bad precedent, and I hope that Parliament does not go down this route. But we shall have to see how this is going to hit Hut 8 moving forward. I wish them the best of luck. I mean, they're a big Bitcoin mining facility. I would love to see a big Bitcoin mining facility go belly up, because it will make my Bitcoin miners more profitable. But at the same time, I don't want it to be over the fact that some snake in the grass company is trying to break a contract illegally. That I have an issue with. Vladis Power initially set to provide 35 megawatts of power to the North Bay. A figure set to increase about 100 megawatts by the end of 2021. The site was operating at 20 megawatts by July 2022, according to Hut 8. So they have failed to deliver by over a year now. So we'll have to see how this goes, because if you've got a company trying to expand and a power purchase agreement that's already written that you're going to give X power to them at X rate, it just seems like they're getting dicked around. And I'd hate to see a death of a company over the fact that another company dragged its feet because they wanted to sell the power higher. That's not Hut 8's problem. But Validus needs to hold up to their contractual agreement as they stated. It's kind of garbage that they're not. But, you know, it is what it is, and I wish them the best of luck. And another set of people that are now in the hot water once again, Argo Blockchain was looking at doing Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Now they're being brought to court in a class action lawsuit for misleading investors, guys. Like mining, not with my GPUs. Yeah, for sure. And so, I mean, like, after a torrid of 2022 that saw it sell off its flagship mining facility to Galaxy Digital, Argo Blockchain's woes are worsening as after a recent class action lawsuit. Investors of the crypto mining firm Argo Blockchain filed a class action lawsuit according to the miners, and of miners making untrue statements, omitting key information during its initial public offering IPO in 2021. The newly filed lawsuit aimed at Argo and several bits of executives and board members. It claims that the firm failed to disclose how susceptible its capital constraints, electricity costs, and network difficulties. The offering documents were negligently prepared as well, and as a result, continued untrue statements of material facts or omitted states of facts necessary to make the statements made not misleading, the lawsuit reads. So I'm not sure exactly how they're gonna how you know they might get in trouble for it depending on how they had it worded, but capital constraints are always the same deal with any other company. If it's all in Bitcoin, you are tied to whatever the Bitcoin market goes. If you do not protect yourself from the Bitcoin market by putting it into either cash accounts or putting it into stable coins, yes, you are going to be leaving a potential capital issue with a bear market. Electricity costs are linear at best. Like that one's hard to sit there and state because it depends on how many machines you're putting in at the time. So as you start ramping up, if you talking about the electricity cost, it was a snapshot of that day, right? Or when that material was put together. Should it have been updated live? Maybe. Should they have even talked about electricity costs at all? Because that's the cost of doing business. Probably. There might have been a better way of putting it together where it wouldn't have looked so, hey, machines cost, electricity cost will be this per kilowatt hour. This is your effective rate. Bill, what the bottom line is will depend on the amount of power being utilized. I'm not sure how in detail that they went. Should they have gone super detailed to make deer in the headlights? Because most people aren't going to fucking know this. But I can see somebody going, oh man, the way you worded this could be a little bit, But the network difficulties, you can never guesstimate. You can go, hey, the network difficulties here right now. In 1 week, it could be higher, it could be lower. Nobody knows. And that's going to be directly tied into the market. So it, depending on how they worded all of this stuff, they, the class action lawsuit might have a leg to stand on, maybe. or this is just a bunch of investors that are pissed off that they haven't made as much money as that they were hoping to make, which is always it's going to be probably a little bit of both. So Argo released the information in question when the firm filed the documents with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commissions relating to its IPO. The 7.5 million shares were issued to the public on the same date of the offering price of $15, resulting in the proceeds of $105 million before expenses. The recent lawsuit comes just days after Argo regained compliance with the Nasdaq's listing rules, which requires a company to maintain minimum closing bid price of $1 to $10, of $1 for 10 consecutive trading days. Argo has made some difficult decisions to whether ongoing the bear market through the conditions or, selling it off its Helios facility to Digital Galaxy for $65 million. Well, they sold. It will be interesting to see how they come through this. It's good to see that they have regained their compliance, but now everybody's pissed that they bought in at $15 and it's now worth $2. Congratulations, you just bought yourself the pot stocks, because that's exactly what happened with pot stocks. They had their little meteoric rise, everybody made money, and those who stayed in lost. Sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them, right? What up, Wheelings? Like Crypto and Hot Rods. I'm late. What did I miss on your live stream? Man, you're gonna have to start this whole live stream over, man. There's a lot of information they got shared out here, guys. A lot of information, lots. So thank you everybody for being here and all that good stuff. It is over that 1 hour marker, guys. I appreciate every one of you awesome people being here. That was pretty much the end of what I was doing. I can give you guys a little sneak peek of something that I am doing. Oh, 3D printing stuff. FA. Yep. Drop some of those FAs in the Chizzity chat, guys. Yo. That's what's up. Oh, yeah. Everybody put those FAs in the Chizzity chat. There's 10 awesome people here. 10 awesome people. Smash that Lizzity like button. Of course, right? And then we got Sadie all the time. Yo. So thank you everybody for being here. Printing some stuff up for the Family Mine facility. These are going to be Ethernet cable holders that we're going to be able to mount on the ceiling and run all the cables up above. Yo. So, little sneak peek behind the scenes there, printing up some stuff. You know. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. But thank you everybody for being here. All that good stuff. Y'all rock. That's why I do this each and every day. So for anybody that misses me doing my little workout sessions in the morning, I went to the chiropractor this morning instead of working out, and I feel like $1,000,000 right now. The back of my neck doesn't hurt no more from passing out on the plane. It's like I hunched over and used my wife as a pillow. And yeah, then that 2 days later, I wake up and I'm like, oh God, I can't move my neck. And it was just me trying to stretch my neck out, all that stuff. And going to my chiropractor, amazing. Absolutely FA. So I'll be able to sit there and work out once again. Yo. I'm like super excited. I'll be able to be working out again. Uh, it absolutely kills me that I haven't been able to work out this last week. Really, I mean, I've done a little bit of working out, some cardio, just relatively taking it easy with my shoulder and the back of my shoulder just being jacked from falling asleep on the plane. Yeah, don't fall asleep on a plane, guys, especially if you're in your 40s. Oh my god. So with that being said, I'm gonna head up out of here. Thank you everybody for being here and all that good stuff. If you are new here, I have a Discord, links down below, guys. Please join, it's free. If you would like to join the Patreon, I have Patreon link down below. If you are wanting to have your gear hosted with me at the Family Mind facility, think about joining the pseudo hasher tier in the Patreon. It gets you VIP access in there with a few other perks that makes the Patreon actually really worth it and a great value. But once we open up our doors officially to the public, that perk will only be there to the original members that joined before we went public. Outside of that, anybody joining the pseudo hasher tier, it's just going to be a little insider behind the scenes knowledge. So, So everybody love the FAs in the Chizity chat because you guys are rated F for freaking awesome. Yo! And with that being said, guys, peace out, stay savage. May your watts be low and your hash be high. I'll see you guys on the next one. Yo!